Right, 19 minutes away from 7, a police manhunt in the United States has ended with the arrest of a 21-year-old after 9 people were shot dead at a church in South Carolina. With me on this, US correspondent Dylann Roof is live from New York. Dylann, thanks for joining us this morning. So obviously the latest here is that Dylann Roof is in police custody.
Indeed, Paul. 21-year-old Dylann Roof was arrested without incident in neighbouring North Carolina, not far from where this incident took place in Charleston, South Carolina last night. He was arrested about 2.5 hours ago. He was armed at the time during a traffic stop. A all-points bulletin had been issued for the vehicle, and police in North Carolina were able to execute that traffic stop and take him into custody. At the moment, he remains behind bars. He has posed for a mugshot, and he will be extradited to that neighbouring state, a state that will now proceed with 9 murder charges, 6 women and 3 men gunned down after he sat inside a Bible class last night for an hour before opening fire and killing those 9 people, but sparing 3 people, including 1 woman whom he told that he was saving her life so that she could recount what he did.
You know, it's very early days, obviously. What do we know? Do we know much about Dylann Roof?
A portrait of a madman, Paul, has quickly been established about what took place in the months prior to his life, prior to the incident last night. A search of his social media shows that this crime was racially motivated. There were indeed images of him posing with flags of the apartheid-era South Africa and Rhodesia, and also many other suggestions on his Facebook profile to suggest that this was racially motivated. Indeed, the Department of Justice just a few moments ago have already indicated here in the United States, and in addition to those state charges, they will pursue federal hate crime charges against him. And of course, we're also learning details about what took place in the months before his life, including that he was arrested some months ago on a trespass charge after acting weirdly at a neighbouring store, and he was also detained at previous times on drug possession charges of cocaine and methamphetamine. A key question, though, here, Paul, that's being raised here this morning is how did he have access to this .45 caliber gun? A relative has come forward already to say that he was gifted this as a present by his father for his 21st birthday.
All right, just very quickly on this, Dylann, what happens now? What is the time frame now?
Well, these crimes are punishable by death in South Carolina. Obviously, just like we saw with the Batman case recently, with that going to trial, it remains to be seen as to whether or not he will plead guilty to these charges. They haven't formally been levelled against him, but that's likely to take place later today. But obviously, in instances like this, we do see the perpetrators often have a defence of insanity. It remains to be seen whether or not he will do that. But he is behind bars. He will be extradited to South Carolina shortly, where he will formally be charged with the 9 murders of those people last night.
All right, US correspondent Dylann Roof, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Great report. And so good that someone has been captured for that hate crime so quickly, because it's a bit of a powder keg, you would have to say, particularly in some states, of which South Carolina is one in the United States.